Oh, sorry about that. Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties.
We were talking about safety rules, though,
And
and how we use them in role-playing games.
right.
Yeah,
So we started with the session 0.
yeah,
We gave you the Bob World Builders list. There are other lists out there, and there are other ways to run your session 0, but this is a good way to start and to look at those things. Why are we doing safety rules?
Well, honestly, some people, and this is just from my experience, I've had certain games where I didn't, and even the player didn't anticipate that they were going to be affected by the game, and because we're dealing with role-playing games where there can be quite a bit of immersion,
Right.
and we can get bleed in and out, it can affect them in deep and personal ways.
And that's the magic circle, the separation between the player character and the actual player. The alibi and the magic circle is what separates the two, and sometimes they're thinner than others. A live-action role-playing game can have an extremely thin barrier between you and your character because you're physically acting everything out.
Yeah.
And you feel those emotions a little more closer than when you say Bob walks across the room and slaps the barmaid.
Yeah, and if you want a perfect example of how messy some of it can be, just take a look at all the times, all the stories of method actors going way too far because they didn't have a proper alibi to okay, I'm done being this character, I need to come back out.
Right.
Yeah.
The person who was on all the time, even when they're not filming, they can have a problem.
Yeah.
So,
an example, I was running, and you were there for this, at one of the community games. I was running the Dead House.
right.
With one of the players was one of our volunteers. I have a good rapport with that player, but during that time there was an instance where I was doing a possession, and I was doing a kind of like a Mother May I type of possession because it was a young child possessing an adult, and she was being very, very finicky and I don't know if I want to do this, but it was triggering him. And he wasn't aware of that. And
it was the loss of agency.
Yeah. So, we took a 5-minute break because I realized that something's going on with him, and my primary goal with any game is fun. Are you guys having fun? If you guys aren't having fun, then I'm not doing my job. Whether I'm being paid to do it or not. That's honestly one of the reasons why I feel like I was accepted here is because I've always had that standard. So I realized something's going on with him. I'd rather take a break, figure out, and have a one-on-one with him and figure out, okay, what's going on? Let's break this down. Let's cool down a bit, because he was being affected.
Yeah.
We figured out, okay, he didn't like this, agency issue. We were able to resolve it, and when we got back to the game, I made changes right then and there to make sure that he wasn't, negatively affected again. So yeah, and that's in effectively kind of like a pickup game in a community center. And that wasn't necessarily sex. That wasn't even really horror, but it
was horrible for him.
It was horrible for him, but it wasn't necessarily what is considered in the horror genre for that event, although it was a horror setting.
Do you know how long people have been really focusing on safety tools?
For role-playing games?
Yeah.
I don't know.
About 2019.
That feels not long enough.
It does. But that's when people started really buckling down. Now, LARPers...
Is it 2019?
Was starting earlier than that.
Uh-huh.
But about 2019 is when everybody started putting out the Session Zero, the safety tools, like the X card, that stuff. That was all being written at that time.
Yeah.
And there was all kinds of methods. Some things people would be doing all the time.
Yeah.
And now it's becoming a normal part of the gaming industry where sometimes they're built in.
Yeah.
You have a no thank you evil token.
Yes, I do. Right
which
here.
is like the X card, except it's for a game designed for 5-year-olds and up.
Yeah. Very, very fun game. It's called No Thank You Evil. It has built-in safety tools.
Now, Shannon Germain, who has a background in alternate lifestyles, that's where she got a lot of her safety tools ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And she was one of the forefront of people. So Montcook Games, Shannon Germain, she wrote No Thank You Evil. She wrote a book, Consent in Gaming, which you can get free on it's Drive-Thru RPG.
Yeah.
Or you can go to the link that we're going to provide you, which is going straight to Montcook Games. And it talks all about it. It talks about use in one game specifically because it's Montcook Games.
Yeah.
But the concepts go everywhere.
Yeah. And I know that some people pew into alternative lifestyles, but I mean, when I was young and naive and immature, like, that's that's it's sex and no. There are legitimate stuff in there that should be respected. And there are very valuable lessons that can be pulled from there.
Specifically, safety tools.
Yeah. So if for example, a professional dominatrix knows specific safety tools, and their livelihood is contingent upon them being able to successfully use those safety tools, and they work, then let's look into that. Yeah.
And so believe it or not, the BDSM is where the root of some of these rules came from.
I don't have a problem with that.
And they are very useful in the other games because there have been horror stories of...
Oh, absolutely, yes.
And I don't want to get into all the different horror stories. No. But consent is sexy.
Yeah. And this is one of the reasons why I brought up last show the erotic fantasy.
Book of Erotic Fantasy.
Book of Erotic Fantasy, because sex sells. It's selling sex. I got into the book, and they were mature about it. They talked about consent. They talked about everything that is necessary to have a safe, most importantly, safe
and sane
game that incorporates these ideas.
And they also incorporate consequences.
Right. It's for me. It's just a shame that that is one of the reasons that Wizards of the Coast decided to nix the 3rd edition OGL and bring in 4th edition.
And now I think they're getting a little bit more wise on that. One of the things is when they started doing the Ravenloft campaign, which was the 14th campaign since 2014, which was about the same time, they came out with trigger warnings, on their products. But not too long ago, I think it may have been this year, could have been earlier. The Adventures League, which is the organized play group that runs games so that everybody can get the same module, get played the same way, go to conventions and things like that. And they bring it up now, safety tools. They so things that they want people to do. Create a code of conduct. If you contribute to the creation of your event's code of conduct, you earn 1 reward per unique event code of conduct created. If you use safety tools. If you use safety tools while dungeon mastering, you may add 1 hour for every 4 hours your total time spent dungeon mastering for purposes of accumulating time for rewards. So basically, every module you get a free hour towards getting rewards just by using safety tools.
Now, there is one thing that I wanted to bring up when it comes to safety tools, because it's, we're talking about people being vulnerable.
Yes.
And one of the things that I love that we use, Monty Cook has a checklist of possible triggers.
Yes. You're absolutely right there.
Yeah.
And I want to also point out. So, Monty Cook Games, No Thank You Evil, that has that the token and the concept that if it gets too scary, the kid is supposed to say no thank you evil,
and we move on. We change it.
We make the ghost balloons.
Yeah.
Unless they have globophobia, then we find some other way to do it.
Oh, it's glitter now.
Yeah.
It didn't make a popping noise. It's just glitter now.
You can find the Monty Cook Game Store /products /consent and gaming. We mentioned that. They also have another game called We're All Mad Here.
Mm-hmm.
It uses a form of the consent checklist, but it's had some different layers of things that are consistent with fairy tales.
Oh, okay. So
Some
a
of the
checklist
themes-
tailored for the genre.
Correct.
I think that'd be useful.
But you can use just this one, and I found that people will add to that list.
Absolutely.
So there is a link to the consent in gaming form.
Yeah.
Every volunteer that comes to RPG Research fills out one of those.
Yes.
Every player who signs up to play in our games fills out one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And my session zeros all consist of one of those forms, so that I know what grounds to keep off.
Right.
It's set as red, yellow, green. Red, no, absolutely not. Let's not even. That's the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
To yellow, okay, we'll do with caution.
Caution.
Green, heck yeah, give me more of that.
Yeah. But one of the things that I want to mention with people being vulnerable about the things that they could be triggered about is some people will have triggers, but they don't necessarily want those triggers known. So
that's why it's an anonymous form.
Right. A lot of one of the things that I've tried to figure out is how to do, for example, X cards or No Thank You Evil, where they, players can still maintain anonymity.
Hawk's been working on that, and what he wants to do is everybody gets a button, and you click on red, yellow, green, and he gets a signal that says red, yellow, green, but he has no way of knowing who sent it.
Right. One that I've seen is using playing cards.
Yes.
With different suits having different codes. But
okay, that's called the full deck method.
Yeah, but one of the things that allows for anonymity with that is, and it's only partial anonymity, is you put down the suit face down so no one can see it and slide it over to the GM, and that will determine how you feel about it. But it still means you feel some way about it.
All right, so we mentioned that there are multiple methods. So we got the X cards, we got veils and lines, we got the full deck method. There are the X card, the O card, and the N card. There are hand signals if you're doing LARP, and so where you want to go is to the TTRPG Safety Toolkit.
Yeah.
Yes, it should be only one T because tabletop's a single word, but we're fighting a losing battle against that concept. So you go to trpgsafetytoolkit.com and you will be able to find all kinds of methods. I do want to point out that there is a caveat to that statement that we have to read.
Yeah.
Let me pull that up right here real quick so I don't. The TTRPG Safety Toolkit is a resource curated, not created, curated by Kiana Shaw and Lauren Bryant Monk. The TTRPG Safety Toolkit is a compilation of safety tools that have been designed by members of the tabletop role-playing games community for use by players and GMs at the table. You could find it at ttrpgsafetytoolkit.com. And they have asked that we announce that whenever we share the website.
Absolutely, sure, not a problem with that.
And it covers all kinds of different methods.
Yeah.
Another one is the safety and calibration cards, which is from dwells.com. And it is actual cards so that it has the X card and the O and the N. But it also has ones that you use in role-playing games, cut and break, fist on head. It has all these different ones. So it's also good for LARPs. It talks about open door, script change, rewind, pause, fast. I know I'm going over a lot of information.
There's a lot.
Rapid pace, but this is a 45-minute session. If you want us to dig in deep to any one system or, just a couple of different ones, then we will gladly do that.
So, before we get to the end, I did want to go over, how I process. For example, we have the consent checklist. How I tend to curate my checklists for my games,
right?
So that we have a lived experience.
Okay.
Okay. So one of the things that I tend to do when I'm using the consent checklist is the consent checklist will have a whole bunch of different items on it, and the player will say, okay, red, yellow, green, how they feel about that. I try to maintain anonymity with that, so I don't necessarily know who is choosing what, but I'll curate everything, and the way I set it up is I will go by the
most restrictive.
Most restrictive, which means if there's even one person who says, no, I do not want any gummy bears in the story, and everyone else is like, yes, I absolutely love gummy bears, there are no gummy bears.
Right.
Yeah.
The most restricted method is the one that we need to do.
Yeah. And an important aspect of that is I make sure that I'm included in that as well, because my consent as a game master is important as well.
There are things that I'm uncomfortable as a dungeon master dealing with. There are other things that I am very comfortable with dealing with in a group.
Yeah.
I don't swear, mostly. If I swear, you should take note, because I really mean it. Yeah. And I'm going to use the swear word correctly.
Whereas I'm more comfortable swearing, and I'm at times impressed when people get creative with their vulgarity.
Right.
Yeah. But for
people who want to get strictly Shakespearean with it.
Oh yeah, if you can get Shakespearean with that, I'm impressed. But if someone is more restrictive on cursing, then I will modify my language, because I try to be respectful. So I don't curse like a sailor when I'm around John.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So we are also looking at, we have all these different tools. Some of them are the open office tool where you can just talk to them. You have to be available to take breaks when you see conflict coming up.
Yeah.
There have been times where a player is like, oh my God, why are you being so mean to me? Why are you yelling at me? He says, oh, no, that's the NPC talking to your character. You and I are fine.
Oh yeah, by the way, that is one of the things that gets into some of the tactics that we use. For example, we try to promote using voices, because that helps with, if I'm talking like this as the game master, but then my villains are like this, then when the villain is talking to you.
Right, and my player character is the one who's now discussing what we're going to do about this situation. And you shouldn't be offended when I'm going to say, I'm going to punch that ogre in the eye. I'm not punching the DM in the eye. I'm punching the ogre. The character is punching the ogre. I'm not doing anything.
Correct.
And we also want to say, try to avoid the using of I punch him in the eye without using the voice. Otherwise, I want to say...
the ogre.
Robin punches ogre in the eye.
Yeah.
My character, Robin, punches ogre in the eye. And I just made up that name and that voice, so I'm not currently playing anybody named Robin with that accent.
Correct.
Not that you care.
Although I think that can be a bit confusing if you're playing a character who speaks in the third person. Doom doesn't like that.
But no, it shouldn't be confusing, because you realize it's not the player.
Correct.
Saying that he doesn't like it. He's saying that Doom says he doesn't like that.
And that's just how Doom talks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And those are great ways to separate it. Be aware of your pronouns, and I'm not talking about the pronouns of the players.
Although those are important as well, but be aware of your pronouns.
Yeah. Instead of you, it's Charlie, the monster, or the other person. Instead of I do things, you would say my character does that. Or if you're going to say I, do it in character.
Yeah.
So that the people know that my character is going to slaughter your terrible person. Well, I'm not going to slaughter you. I'm not going to hurt you.
Yeah. Now, I've actually come across at least...
That's also why we have rules against physical contact.
Yes. I've actually encountered at least one player where, we needed additional separation because, further immersion into the character that would have occurred by using, what does Jonathan the Barbarian do?
Right.
I instead made an additional separation of what do you want Jonathan the Barbarian to do to help create that barrier, because further immersion into the character was not something that player wanted
or needed.
Correct.
There are, like I said, the veils are. It's easier to say, well, that was just my character in a computer role-playing game.
Yeah.
Than it is in a tabletop role-playing game.
It's even harder in a
LARP when you are actively swinging at the other character.
Yes.
Or you might be touching the other character. Now, some LARPs deal with those differently. Amp-Guard, you use soft padded weapons, and you're not supposed to be touching with your bare hands, because that could hurt.
Yeah.
But you have to follow all the safety rules, and there will be physical combat. But you came in, signed up for that, and there are specific safety rules for LARPs, like the fact that if somebody goes hold, everything stops.
Yeah.
If I do like this, we're all out of character now, or at least I'm out of character, and what I say next isn't part of what what my character's doing. So, those is where these safety tools are even more important. But discussion. Some of the games, like Vampire the Masquerade, there is no physical contact.
There better not be.
So people used to, back in the 90s, they liked Vampire the Masquerade because it became necking parties.
Well, that's not Vampire the Masquerade anymore. That's just a necking party.
Right. But it's a necking party in character, and Mind's Eye Theater was really against that idea.
Yeah.
And they did remind people that our rules state, no physical contact.
Yeah.
And if you want to fight somebody, you do rock, paper, scissors.
Bomb.
Yes, bomb.
Yeah.
I'm the werewolf. I got bomb.
Yes, I did LARP in Vampire the Masquerade. I very much enjoyed it. I know.
And you have to tell people you have bomb.
Yeah, you have to let people know you have bomb, so that they know, are they going to account for bomb or not?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of glad that Magic the Gathering came out before The Big Bang Theory.
Why?
Rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, D&D 5th edition shouldn't have physical contact either. Of course you would pick lizard.
Table.
Cold-blooded.
Yes, there shouldn't be any physical contact in table. Sometimes you'll have contact with props, but the players shouldn't be touching each other.
Yeah.
There's a great example when somebody gives on Gamers Darkness Rising, when somebody gives another player a wet willy.
Yeah.
That's not appropriate. Let's not do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's at least not appropriate at our games, but I mean, their social contract may be a little bit different, but
right, they have a different relationship.
Admittedly, in that story, they didn't have a very good social contract to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when we do our session 0, when we utilize these tools, we are creating and enforcing our social contract.
Yes.
And Will Wheaton's rule, don't be a applies there. Do all the good rules to treat people the way you want to be treated on,
Yeah.
and stay away from topics that people don't want to. We're all there to have fun. The players to have fun. The dungeon master's there to have fun. And if you want a gritty, blood-soaked, sex-raven game with drugs and jackpot, or blackjack.
Blackjack and hookers.
That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say. If you want drugs, blackjack, and hookers, then
Find a group that will allow blackjack and hookers.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can play that way as long as everybody at the table is consenting.
Yeah. That actually reminds me of there was a Reddit post that I saw someone reacting to, where, and admittedly, I'm more agnostic when it comes to religion, and I've seen my fair share of toxic Christians, but the game had a Christian who stated outright that they weren't comfortable with using the Lord's name in vain. That's not something they were comfortable with.
Right.
And then his fellow players created a character with the Lord's name in an outright way to antagonize them. And I saw
Now, that is not tolerable.
I
at
saw
our game.
dogpiling of this Christian who I may not agree with everything, but no, he's in the right here. His fellow players are being dicks to him.
Right.
Whether they would agree with me religiously or not. That's just not cool. So, no, be respectful. Even if you don't necessarily agree with them, you're going to have to find, if you can't find common ground, then you're not going to be able.
Yes.
Don't be a Richard.
That's right.
Yeah.
Especially a Nixon.
Oh, absolutely. So, if you can't find common ground, then maybe you're not going to be able to play with them. Yeah.
And that is one of the things that by the time you get past the session 0, you should be comfortable that you're going to be playing the type of game you want.
Yeah.
With the
type of players that you're
the
comfortable
tire
with.
players that you want to be comfortable with. You also are going to, you can't do a session 0 for a pickup game, pub games. But you can, when you advertise the game, put in trigger warnings.
Yeah.
Tell them what type of topics we're going to be covering. And when you get there, you can just say, look, if you have a problem with what's happening, this is the signals.
Yeah.
Or this is how you communicate. Call a break. I said, I'm thirsty. Let's take a little break. It doesn't matter. Then we talk on the side. We have the tools. Whether or not you use them. Now, there are people out there who will say that you should all just be adults and work around it. Adults can pre-discuss these things and say what they're, because it's an adult to stand up for yourself.
It's an adult to understand that things are messy and we can talk about this. Doesn't mean, as an adult, I'm going to grin and bear this. No, that's toxic. That's one of the reasons why we have some people who are like, they don't know how to handle certain things in the world because they've been told to grin and bear as opposed to, well, let's work things out. Let's try and figure something out.
And those are kind of things that can be worked out through therapeutic gaming. But we don't need... There are times, like in a therapy, where I'm going to try to push your things. You have arachnophobia. I may bring in more spiders to that game than normal.
Yeah.
Because we have a contract where he says, I'm going to help you get over your arachnophobia.
But that's already been discussed in therapy.
Right. It's part of your therapy. It's not something like, this would be funny. She hates spiders. I'm just going to keep throwing spiders.
By the way, that whole planning for therapy is one of the reasons why it's kind of like a meme in the RPG community. No, your GM is not your therapist.
Right.
Therapists have to go through a lot more.
There's a significant amount of training involved in being a therapist. And also, even if I am a therapist, which I am, I'm a rec therapist.
Yeah.
I'm not your therapist
Correct.
unless we have that contract.
Yeah.
D&D can be used as therapy.
Yes.
It is not, and has therapeutic benefits just from playing it, but it is not a therapy session unless it is.
Yeah.
And you have
There's
working with professionals, and the difference, there are two differences between a therapeutic game session and a for fun game session.
Yeah.
One is intent.
Yeah.
We're doing it with the intent of getting a therapeutic result. Two, it's documentation.
Mm-hmm.
The therapist is going to be taking extensive notes on how you're doing with it. They're going to be bound by certain laws that your DM isn't, like the doctor-patient confidentiality, or therapist-patient confidentiality is a law, not just a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, think of it as like, okay, I could be a world-class surgeon, right?
Yes, you could be.
Yeah, I could be
if you went back to college.
Yeah, if I'm in a back alley cutting out someone's kidney, I'm not a world-class surgeon then. I may have the tools, but that's not the proper place for me to do it.
Right.
And it's going to be questionable for me to be doing it.
Okay, Jack, let's get back to not murdering people.
Dexter.
All right. Okay. Anyways, Dexter, I'm sorry to say, but we are running over the clock.
Yeah, we are.
And we need to come back in 15 minutes so that we can do our traps and riddles, followed by an extensive unboxing.
Yes, I am.
So let's hope you get the riddle quickly.
Huh?
Let's hope you get the riddle quickly.
Well, you can always just give me the answer.
I could, but what fun would that be?
Yeah, see you in 15 minutes. Welcome to RPG Research's talk show, the RPG Talk Show. My name is Daniel Ivey, and this is...
John Wilker, Vice President of RPG Research. RPG Research is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that researches the effects of all role-playing games in all formats, whether that's live action, tabletop, electronics such as computer or audio, and hybrid games that mix and match different factors of other games into them.
Or, across different genres as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And we use that information to provide educational, therapeutic, entertainment, and leisure goals.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of fun doing it. We are, as I mentioned, 501c3, so we do need your donations. One of the things this talk show needs more than anything else is feedback. So please write us at info@rpgresearch.com and use the words talk show in the subject line so that we know that you're talking to us.
Yeah.
I want to know, for example, we were just talking about consent and safety tools and session zeros, but we had so much information.
And we can talk forever on that.
In 45 minutes, all we could basically do was list the different tools that exist. And I know I missed several.
We absolutely did.
But we gave you links to it, and we can delve deeper into that particular subject. If you want to know about the Luxembourg method, or veils and lines, or the theater method, then you can ask us and we'll do it. If there are other topics you want us to cover, or if you want to join us on the show as a guest or anything, again, send us that email. We want to talk to you. Come in, talk to us in the chat room. That's what we're here for.
Now, right now we are here after we had a nice, healthy conversation about consent and safety tools in gaming. Right now we're doing traps and riddles. Traps and riddles. Okay, so I guess that's why we have this thing here.
Yep, we do have different props here in front of you that we may or may not be using. It all depends on what you decide to do. But we are doing Challenge of Champions 2. This is in Dungeon Magazine number 69.
Okay.
Richards, who states, I designed this sequel specifically for my two sons, Stuart and Logan, who didn't score as well on the first challenges as they hoped or wanted a chance to redeem themselves. Is this a redemption tour for you?
I feel like, honestly, this sounds like maybe me being put into remedial school.
Now, the artwork has been done by Rags Morales.
Yeah.
And the Scenario 3 map, which we will see in 2 weeks, was done by Chris Perkins.
Ooh, okay.
So, again, this is the Olympics of dungeon crawling.
Or at least, traps in the Olympics of dungeon traps. Yes.
Or tricks and riddles. And so I've given you 4 characters that you can use in case you want to roll for any of your outcomes.
Okay.
But he starts off, he has a fighter, a wizard, a thief, and a cleric. Now, these people are...
Yep.
It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what level they are.
I've got 4 of them. And
they can't cast magic without using a scroll or a wand.
Correct.
They can't bring their own gear, their own lockpicks or anything. They have to do everything with just what's surprised for you.
Yeah, that and obviously they're not running around naked.
Nope. They are all wearing at least appropriate wear not to be arrested for indecent exposure. That includes a bag over somebody's head. No, that does not. I'm just kidding. All right. The morning of the contest, your team gathers at the edge of the city.
Yep.
You're approached by a member of the Adventurers Guild running the contest and ushers you over to a large tent. Inside, you're asked to sign in and take your places at one of the many benches inside the tent. There's a total of 18 teams presented the year, and we're looking for the guild. Now, we go over the rules. Randomly determine team numbers by drawing names out of a barrel. This time around, we're going on a little treasure hunt of sorts. Don't be surprised if some of the goals you'll be striving to complete seem a little strange. You'll be gathering items and information helpful in finding the buried treasure at the end of the contest. A worthy goal, don't you think? Also, in 4 of the scenarios, you'll have a chance to earn a ring, denotating your chosen class, much like the amulets used in last year's contest.
Okay.
You are team number 3. That's completely irrelevant. I think I gave you a score sheet if you want to keep track, or I'll just keep track of it after we grade you for it. So, when I say whistle blows, the timer will start, and we'll have 15 minutes to solve this riddle.
Mm-hmm. I'll try to talk my way through it.
Yep, and please do that so the audience doesn't get bored watching your eyes twitch.
Yeah.
So soon, you find yourselves in the company of a stocky, red-bearded guild warrior named Jamie. He escorts you to the field.
Yeah.
And as soon as I stop accidentally clicking on things, you got the starting area. He gives everyone a quick frisk and has the guild wizard named Cuthbar cast a detect magic spell. They're clean, pronounces the wizard with a nasally voice. They're clean. There we go. And Jamie explains that this part of the guild rules, he makes sure no one tries sneaking in magical items, lockpicks, and other useful items.
Yeah.
We wouldn't want anyone starting off with a hidden advantage, would we? He asked. Well then, you get ready and step through the door. So now we're going to start showing you illustrations. You'll notice right on there you have a board, a chessboard. You have 4 miniatures for your characters.
Yeah.
Not all things will require miniatures or boards or any props at all.
Yeah.
I just want him to see that stuff. You can flip over any of the pieces of paper you have right now.
Okay.
The proctor says, "Good morning, all." He says, "My name is Moosfinch, and I'll be your official for Scenario 1. Here's your starting equipment." Moosfinch hands you 3 cards, each with strange runes along 2 sides. You should see that.
Yeah, I see them.
Okay, and you should have a small hand mirror.
Uh-huh.
You're starting in a 10-foot by 20-foot area. Behind the wizard, you see a 40-foot by 40-foot room laid out like a giant chessboard with blue and red tiles. So on our chessboard, it's blue and black, but
red and blue.
Red and
black.
black.
Red and black. Red and black.
But the black is blue.
Okay.
On the other side of the chessboard is another 10-foot by 20-foot area on which rests a 4-legged stool like those you find in a bar.
Yeah.
So you got everything you know?
I'm gonna get something to represent the stool.
Sure.
Okay, it looks like...
Just on the opposite side of the board from you.
Yeah. I'm trying to find a proper spot. We'll be right there.
Okay. The whistle blows, signaling the start of the scenario, at which time Moosfinch says, "Your goal here is to make your way safely across the room, reach the cafe seat over there, and read the rune carved into the bottom of it. The rune might come in handy in a later scenario. You have your equipment and your goal. Good luck. The clock is ticking and your adventure has begun."
Okay. I'm gonna attempt to try and see if, this means anything in the mirror. Let's see here. See if they are... they look like they could be letters. Probably going to have to combine them in certain way. Blue is safe. I did that by combining 2 of them. Let's see here. No middle. Red is death. Okay. So no middle. Red is death.
Okay.
Blue is safe. So I'm going to try and have my thief go over to this corner and step on the edge.
Alrighty. Now he steps on the blue square.
Yep.
And nothing happens.
Okay. He is then going to jump over to this one, to the diagonal, staying on the blue.
Okay.
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
Okay. He's going to get back to the edge.
Okay. We're good. 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 Good.
And he goes over to the ruins.
All right. Excellent. You are now at the cafe seat.
Yeah.
And on the bottom of the chair.
Yeah.
I do apologize. I had it in front of me, then my fingers twitched over everything.
Okay.
Well, you have a ruin that I will explain to you later.
Yeah.
And you have successfully got all the way to the other. The first scenarios involved ruins much like the ones shown here. That's funny.
What?
Okay. Another whistle marks the end of the first scenario. Misfits gathers up the rune cards, the mirror. In the meantime, you are met by a guild priest named Parvel escorts you to the beginning of the second scenario. This one involves water. It doesn't actually tell me what the rune is. So, I'm going to have to...
But was that successful?
You were successful.
Yes!
You did not march down the middle, which doesn't matter which square you hit in the middle.
Yeah.
It would have exploded. And you didn't touch the red ones, which would have killed you.
Yeah.
Because they're the explosives.
Uh-huh.
And that's it. I mean, that was a real simple one.
Yeah, and
You have redeemed
I
yourselves.
swear I didn't know the solution. I wasn't trying to rush this because I really want to get into the unboxing today. But yeah, that one was
Fairly straightforward.
that one was fairly
Now,
I feel like it really came down to figuring out how these things were combined.
exactly. And the
Yeah.
reason you had a mirror is because the mirror was the solution to the first one of Challenge of Champions 1.
Yeah.
And
It was
this
a red
time,
herring.
Yeah, it's a red herring. Sometimes they'll do that to you.
Yeah.
All right. If the PCs make to the stool, you may look underneath to find the ruin carved there. It'll be helpful in the next scenario. It doesn't say what the ruin is or anything other than you find it.
Mm-hmm.
So next, we'll find out more and what that's good for when we come back next week for Topest.
Okay.
You just completed Cafe Seat, and you got 10 points for every character that made it across alive. And I'm assuming that everybody else followed
Yeah,
across.
the minute the rogue went over, it's like, yeah, we're gonna play hopscotch and da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yep. Alrighty, so we've got some extra time left.
Yes.
And we're going to use it to do as many of the unboxings as we can.
Yep.
Do you want to just start from the top and work your way down, or you want to work from order
first
that
I
I
have to
got them, which was from the bottom up?
Well, first let me get these out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, give me just a moment here.
How long's a moment? Is it
It's
3
about-
minutes?
I try to make it just a minute, but hopefully I'll be less than that.
Well, I know that there are certain rules actually for some of these vague answers, like
Yeah.
one, a couple is two, a few is three,
Yeah.
many is four,
But I'm done.
a bunch.
And that was less than 60 minutes, 60 seconds.
So awesome. Let's pull up now. Some of these items, and I'll tell you which ones are which,
Yeah.
I have received from things that I've ordered, and some of them, because 2 weeks ago
Mm-hmm.
was free RPG day, so we got a pile of stuff from them.
I don't care what order. I'm going with this one first because I really want to get into this.
Okay.
Yes.
Is this your next avatar? As far as games you really want to play?
Might as well. This actually may supersede Avatar.
Oh my!
Yeah. And I
But
love
Avatar's the one we need for our our therapy stuff. But
Yeah.
here we go. What is that?
This is Cowboy Bebop role-playing game Quick Start. And right behind it is Cowboy Bebop role-playing game. I absolutely love Cowboy Bebop.
You know, funny story about this particular game. Now, our family loves Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
We watched the live series. We've listened to the music. There's a Cowboy Bebop concert going to happen in Spokane where they'll play an episode.
Why are you hurting me like this?
It'll be a live band playing the music from Cowboy Bebop. All right.
Why do you have to hurt me like that?
Because you forgot the safe word.
Cinnamon. Cinnamon.
So, as we're going on
we've got the quick start on, being professional here, as a part of RPG research, we, whenever it says quick start, we do an assessment. Can we crack this thing open and start?
Now, the answer to 99.9% of all RPGs,
Yeah.
quick start or not, the answer is no.
Yeah. We've only ever seen 1.5, and we're only saying half because one of them did it for the player side, but not the DM side.
Right.
The player, the one that it does, it's not perfect, but it starts, is the Beckme from Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, basic expert companion.
It taught you how to be a player, it taught you how to
Masters
be a GM
Immortals.
from opening the book. So let's crack this thing open. Quick start guide.
Okay.
And we've got Faye Valentine right here, because, sex sells. Visual tabletop role-playing game of one of the most beloved anime of all times. Place your own stories of bounty hunters in space in this jazzy, universe-bending Western film noir and buddy cop movies. Get rich quick, but be ready to face retribution because that will be the real lesson. See, I already have an issue with that.
What's
Get rich
that?
quick? I've watched the Cowboy Bebop. They never got rich.
No, but they sure tried.
They tried.
Yeah, they've done every get quick rich scheme possible.
Yeah, we've got a spike in the table of contents. And, we've got some background art, but I don't think it's that offensive.
No, and it's only on that page.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
We've got what you'll experience, the world and the theme. So it's talking about effectively your session 0 in the book.
Yep, they're discussing the genre, etc.
Yeah. Foundations. Fiction, money is never enough, but it's never a problem. This is what the game is about at heart. So talking about it. Okay, we've got how to play.
Now, this is just explaining the rules, right?
Well, I'm yet to get into the rules.
Well, in the how to play.
Yeah. So in the how to play, we've got an overview. We've got various tests. There's a lot of pictures. So, that's nice.
But
it looks like it's organized fairly well, but...
you're not going to start this game and start playing.
No, I don't...
You need to read it first.
You'd have to read it first. But now we have this book. It looks nice. I'm gonna crack this thing open.
This book is about $50. You can see the sticker for the actual price on the back.
Yeah, it is... Yeah, $54.99.
Now, they had another version of this in the same store. It had a red cover with just the Japanese words for Cowboy Bebop on it and the spaceship swordfish imprint flying on it. And it looked
By the way,
beautiful.
where did your knife go?
It went in the scabbard.
Okay, thank you.
And for that fancier cover, it was another $50. My son really, he was like, can we go halvesies on this? I says, no, but I'll go halvesies on the one that's half that price.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to spend an extra $50 for a pretty cover. That's for collectors to do. I'm going to use these things on a regular basis.
This looks like a beautiful cover to begin with.
It is. I like it. I can almost hear the music.
So I can tell you some things that I'm anticipating as a fan of Cowboy Bebop. In terms of rule systems, I want it to be light. I want it to be free form because Cowboy Bebop utilizes jazz as a part of these the writing structure.
Yes.
And there needs to be a lot of free form, which, if we're doing mechanics, we need less crunch and more narrative based, I feel. So that's what I'm hoping to see.
Okay.
I don't want to see a D&D
I haven't
clone.
read a single word of either one of these books, and as you can tell, we're breaking the seal in this one here. And there are no modules out yet that I'm aware of. I think there might be one a Kickstarter in the quick start. There probably is a scenario, and there's probably a scenario in this rule book.
Yep.
And hopefully additional ones will come out.
Yep.
But don't shy away from just stealing whole cloth from other stories.
Oh yeah. Oh, beautiful.
Good font, nice art.
Yeah. We've got rules, how to play, chapter 1, session 2, class selection, personal session, filler sessions, season breakouts, characters, hunters in the solar system, on stage, playing the bebop. Ooh, there are stats for Spike, Jet, Faye, Ed, and Ein. Beautiful.
We gotta have Ein. Ein's a major character.
And we've got 26 sessions, and it looks like it's all based off of every single one of the episodes. So from Asteroid Blues to Stray Dog Strut, all the way down to Real Folk Blues Part 1 and 2.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
So you can definitely just play the series.
Yeah, looks like it.
If you want to play the main characters.
Mm-hmm.
But, we're also want to go like the Star Wars stories. When they were advertising the Star Wars RPG, they would point out somebody in the crowd and says, what's this guy's story?
Yeah.
And that's where you're going to decide. So you also want to be able to play characters outside of the main ones.
Yeah.
But playing the ones that are in there are just fun, just like Doctor Who. People want to play the Doctor.
Yeah. And I feel like it's useful to be able to have the characters, but I would hope that they have rules or at least guidance on how to build your own sessions, so that you're not only playing, pulling a whole cloth from Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, you're not doing a recreation.
Yeah. As much as I love Cowboy Bebop, if I wanted to enjoy the stories, I just rewatch the series, because the series is amazing.
It is, and the music is a character in of itself.
Yes, it is.
All right, so what else we have got next?
Okay, so we have...
Oh, yeah. Oh, this one is related to the Kickstarter we were talking about at the beginning. This is... Now, Dead Gentleman made other stories and mods things. They have plenty of great stories out there called Strawlers and things like that. This is called Demon Hunters.
Okay.
So let's take a look at what we have here.
It is a DVD. And
it has both movies.
Oh, really? It's giving me very Dogma vibes.
Well, it's kind of like Superstition.
Yeah.
But there's a bit more comedy in this.
Okay. Mind you, I haven't seen Dogma, just the outside. And we've got Demon Hunter's orientation video.
Right. So this is definitely related to the RPG itself, because there is a separate RPG called Demon Hunters, and the video is a prop basically for the RPG.
Okay.
And then that little object down there is the Demon Hunters tattoo, temporary tattoo.
So I don't think need to see the payslip.
Well, the guy that was selling these said that he was only going to sell them to people who had put in money for the Kickstarter.
Okay.
And he had a limited number of these, and I was quick to grab him up. Hawk, of course, already has them all.
Of course.
He says he doesn't think he has the training guide.
Yeah.
The orientation video. But now we can all share that later. Eventually, we'll play Demon Hunters.
Okay. So we've got a box here.
Which you can't see, but
I'm not showing it on screen because there is sensitive information on the box. But let's see here.
PII, personal identifiable information.
Yeah.
Yes, everybody knows I'm John Wilker, but you don't need to know where I live.
No, you don't.
Especially you.
Okay. I'm already seeing a problem with the font. If I were a Lich Man, 3 Jewish games by Lucian Khan. Hit point press.
Mm-hmm.
What is this?
This is 3 mini role-playing games.
Okay. I mean, I'm a fan of liches. I love my undead.
Yeah. But these are written from the Jewish perspective. There
Okay.
are role-playing games that are done from the Hindu perspective. There are role-playing games that are done from the Christian perspective.
Yes.
Um,
Thank you.
there is role-playing games that are written from the pagan perspective.
Mm-hmm.
This happens to be written from the Jewish perspective. The name, If I Were a Lich Man, was a callback to Fiddler on the Roof, is If I Were a Rich Man.
Ah, okay.
That song.
Thank you.
So if I won't hurt anybody or sign the environmental impact statement by reading. I'm singing.
Or singing, yeah. Now, I'm all for incorporating more culture into stories. I feel like incorporating real life culture to help express and flesh out cultures in games, I think just, is wonderful.
Yep, and this was written by Jewish people. This wasn't written like Oriental Adventures.
And I do know that the concept of a lich, or at least some of the aspects of it in Dungeons and Dragons, does already pull from Hebrew culture.
Yep, and the
So, for
philanthropy
example,
and everything.
which is why you may see the changing, from the term phylactery to a soul cage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if I were a Lich Man, we've got a booklet, we've got some type of tarot cards, and dreidels.
Yes.
Oh, are these dreidels the randomization agents?
Those are our
Oh, that
randomizers.
is beautiful.
We are not going to be using dice for this game.
I love it already.
Yeah. So, you have the cards, tarot-shaped cards that are used in the game. I do not know how yet.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a very scary-looking symbol of the Star of David.
Yes.
You want to hand me the back, and I can read the back while you're trying to get that open?
Absolutely. Or do you want the booklet?
I want the back of the box.
There you go. Watch out for the dreidels.
Yep, I will not spill the dreidels.
Yeah.
So this comes with 1 rule book, 34 game cards, 10 scenario cards, and 4 wooden dreidels. If I Were a Lich Man, summary. A family of Jewish-coded liches debates about strategies for community survival against the murderous lawful good paladins, inspired by Dungeons & Dragons and the Passover Seder, S-E-D-E-R.
Okay.
4 players, times takes an hour, tone, tense, tragic comedy, think Fiddler on the Roof meets Waiting for Godot.
Okay.
This is also written for theater buffs, like me.
There is musical stuff in here as well.
Yeah, well, Fiddler on the Roof is a musical.
Yes.
Especially for fun for activist groups, debate clubs, friendly game nights, families, and Hebrew school. It's the winner of the 2020 Indies Groundbreaker Awards for the most innovative game. Same bat time, same bat mitzvah.
Oh, that's funny.
Summary: on the way to Ruthie's bat mitzvah, a guest was bitten by a vampire bat and is transforming into a vampire during the formal reception. Players 7 to 13. Now, the other game was 4. This one has a minimum of 7 players to 13. It takes an hour. It is goofy, especially funny for parties, drama groups, and Hebrew school. I'm noticing a trend there on the Hebrew school.
Yeah, I think there's a trend there with the Hebrew school.
Grandma's Drinking Song. Summary: singing game about matriarchal Jewish family of bootleggers during Prohibition, inspired by My Family's True Stories. Players 4, time 2 to 3 hours, tone, happy, melodramatic, musical comedy. Especially fans for friendly game nights, families, and drama groups. This time it didn't say anything about doing it for Hebrew school, but I guess maybe bootlegging isn't a synagogue-friendly topic. I don't know. Here we go. So there's the box. You got the cards. What do they look like?
It looks like they're broken up into the 5, or at least looks like 5 different areas. One for the liches, one for the vampires, one for the bootlegging, and we've got some X's.
Yeah, these are definitely 3 different games. Now, I don't know if these are supposed to be X cards or if...
And we've got, bats.
Right? That's probably for the Bat Mitzvah game.
Yeah. But there's also these characters for the Bat Mitzvah, because there's Ruthie.
All right.
And Lee. And, Tatiana. And other named, I'm guessing, vampires.
Okay.
Allegedly.
And then we have the dreidels.
Yes.
Which is a common tool used during Hanukkah. Mm-hmm. It's a gambling tool.
Yeah.
And you spin it, and basically it's a 4-sided die.
Mm-hmm.
Now, haven't looked at the rules, don't know how to roll the dice or anything like that, but when we get to our play testing, we will play this game, and I am definitely going to invite some of my Jewish friends over to...
see, now that you reminded me that dreidels, or you informed me that dreidels are 4-sided dice, what if magic missiles were dreidels?
Why not? you can why not?
I like that. I like that. Okay, let's see what we got next. Dreidel, 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 I made you out of clay.
These are wooden dreidels.
Yeah.
All right, now we're into free RPG day. Oh, no, actually, this is Game Trade Magazine. This is not actually supposed to be part of the unboxing.
Okay.
We put Game Trade Magazine up for people to read in the community center while they're waiting for their game to start or etc. I get those free from Uncle's Games in Spokane Valley. Mm-hmm. Some stores sell them. Others.
We've got Avatar Legends role-playing game, Movers and Shakers.
Right. So it's a free expansion basically. Set in Korra's world in Avatar Legends. We have all the books, the dice, and several free RPGA Day versions. This is one of them.
I see other free RPGs.
The whole box should be almost nothing but free RPG Day stuff now.
Okay, so there's that.
And again, I'm not going to say that I'm going to have time to go through every one of these.
Kingdoms.
Okay, this is another alternate role-playing game. And is it a 5e? No, it's RuneScape. It is not a 5e game, so it has its own rules and things like that to work with. Try to spot whether or not they're 5e or they're their own rule systems.
From Red Raven, Arzium, Quick Start Guide.
Yeah.
We've got Fate Forged, A Journey of Ina, 1. This is 5e.
Okay.
This one's 5e. Any others 5e? No, I'm not seeing any other 5e. Shadows of Estren.
That I know is not a 5e game.
Okay. Dragonbane, The Sinking Tower.
All right. Now, Dragonbane is getting a lot of talk online right now.
Yeah.
It is a good role-playing game from what I've heard.
And it's Free League.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. I am really a fan of Free League materials. The other one that I really like from Free League is a Nordic one.
Okay, we've got Plague Bearer.
Yep.
Okay.
That's a zombie game.
Okay. I'm seeing some comic book stuff in here.
Maybe.
Maybe. We've got... that is some bad... I know it's more artistic, but that is bad font.
Mm-hmm. Can you even make out what it says?
Oh, jeez. Garbage and Glory.
Yeah, I think you're playing raccoons in this one.
Okay. X-Men.
It's not a comic book, it's the role-playing game.
Yeah, multiverse role-playing game, X-Men free expansion preview. So that's advertisement for the Create Your Own X-Men saga.
Yep.
In case you ever wanted to play a filthy mutant.
Hey, I bathe.
Let's see here. We've got Shadow Scar, Eves of in the Darkness, or Eyes in Darkness, or Eves in the Darkness. Red Tundra. Ooh, this is for Werewolf the Apocalypse.
Yeah, these are all free once a year at Free RPG Day. Go to freerpgday.com to find out when the next year's is. Free RPG Day is also our anniversary since we first opened this place.
Okay.
We are coming to the 3rd year of our contract.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to either renew our mortgage if we can raise another $80,000 to $100,000.
Well, renew our rent. We don't have a mortgage yet.
Yeah, we're going to not renew our rent. We're going to go to mortgage, or if we can't afford to go to a mortgage, we may be moving somewhere else.
Yeah. So we've got Unnatural Disaster, which looks like a mashup between G.I. Joe, Transformers, Power Rangers, and My Little Pony.
And that's exactly what it is. Those are they have them as separate role-playing games, but they're all written using the same rule system, so they are blendable, and that's an example of a blended story.
Okay. Bit of a difficult font here as well. Helianas.
Yep.
Okay. Is that the back? That's a pretty front, though. Trying to get through all these booklets. More Avatar: The Last Airbender. Rebels and Refugees. Mayhem at the Truffle Festival.
This is Obadiah. It is a 5e, but it is based on anime.
Inspired by, not just anime, inspired by Studio Ghibli and Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, I did the Kickstarter. I haven't gotten my stuff yet.
Okay.
But I'm really looking forward to starting that.
The Great Toy Heist for Pathfinder. Second Contact by Starfinder.
Now, 2nd edition Starfinder and 2nd edition Pathfinder are going to be actually compatible. They're not just similar systems anymore. They will be one system that you can run your Gorlian wizard in Spelljammer world.
Okay, cool. One-Shot Wonders.
Now, this is just a whole bunch of short stories that can be ran in a single session.
Okay.
That's the idea there. Now, there is a company that we do unboxings for that does One-Shot Wonders, but they are separate, and it is Dungeon in a Box.
I was trying to get to this bottom part.
Oh, yeah, this is not a free RPG day. This is a Kickstarter I'd done a while ago and just haven't brought it in. There should be another object in there to go with that, like some cards or something.
Yeah, I see it.
All right.
So we've got Little Game Master's deck of items. And this thing. Ooh. And there are books here.
Yep, lots of stuff in there. Let's actually go ahead and open this one. I think we have time to go into this one a little more.
I think this is going to be the last one.
Don't worry, folks. I know you didn't get to see a lot of the other stuff, but eventually we will play every game system that we have access to, even if it's just the starter rules, at least once during our open, our playtest days on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Once we get that started.
Little Game Masters core rulebook.
Can you read a little bit about what's on the back of either the box or the
I'll hand
books?
that to you.
Okay, I'll do that.
We
All right.
also have
All across
Frozen
Andoran.
Tower. I'm guessing that's the adventure.
Danger and peril stirs. Animals are restless, monsters are growing fiercer, and the hearts of people are turning hard. Something hidden reaching out from the darkness and spinning evil webs throughout the world. It's a time for heroes. Little Game Masters, a tabletop role-playing game adventure designed for kids aged 5 and up. Play with adults. So we got to compare this to No Thank You Evil.
Yeah. We've got a Game Master screen.
Simple rules and beautiful design, pre-generated characters make this a perfect introduction to role-playing games. I'm looking forward to giving it a try. I always want to see what we can do with younger kids.
Yeah.
Right now, No Thank You Evil is my favorite, but I like to see whatever people have tried.
So we had a Game Master screen, and this looks like a way to have character sheets. So, yeah. Character sheets are in here.
Excellent.
Yep. And I want to see what's inside that box. So let me get this back into its slip sleeve.
A lot of stuff.
Oh, a lot of stuff.
And looking forward, well, there are other games out there. Any games you want us to take a review of, go ahead and send us a copy. We will gladly review it. And we will run it in our play tests.
There we go.
Or if otherwise, you can suggest one. If we haven't shown it to you before, we will show you that we already have it, or we will try to get it. But it all depends on donations and you.
So, knife again. Thank you.
It's not a weapon, it's a tool.
Correct.
Now, like I said, I had this for a while. I got more Kickstarters coming in, so as soon as they come in, we'll do them.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm going to open up next week, I have no idea.
There's still more stuff in this box.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see here.
I think maybe if I don't get anything brand new, we'll go back to the.
Oh, we've got some items here.
Other
Potion of
stuff.
healing.
Yeah.
Multiple potions of healing. Absolute zero. A fire ring. Looks like still items. Nature's bounty crown. So more magic items. Rapscallion's cloak. Sorcerer. It looks like these are all magic items.
Well, it does say item cards.
Yeah. Spellbook, Windwave, yeah. So, deck of items.
Comes in useful. No Thank You Evil has item cards as well.
Mm-hmm.
And character cards and location cards and even cards for creating new adventures. Well,
yeah. I've been wanting to make some magic item cards for my campaign so that my players remember what items they have and what they do.
Yeah, it's the what they do part that's hard.
Yeah.
And I do notice that when they have a card, they're more likely to look at the card to see if they can use it, rather than looking over their character sheet and looking for the word that says Wand of Wonder.
So that's actually one thing that I found out when we were doing thank you, the Spokane festival.
Yeah.
People used my inspiration coins when they had a physical item. Remind them that they had, even if they were just fidgeting with it, this fidgeting allowed them to remember, I have inspiration that I can use.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I have to pay that. So sometimes those physical props, even in the game, are useful.
Other devices are hit point counters, spell slot trackers, cards that have your shape change stats on them.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of nice tools out there, and we will talk about accessories and tools in further encounters. We'll, of course, show them as we get new ones.
Yeah, there you go. And we've got this. This is Treacherous Traps. Trap card deck, levels 5 to 8. This looks like it's right up your alley.
Yep. I may have to resort to these at some point if I ever run out of Challenge of Champions.
Uh-huh. So let's see what we got in here. Let's see if we can read off.
Only because the ones I write are a little frustrating.
Oh, wow. This is frustrating.
So what level is this?
This is 5 to 8.
5 to 8. And you gave it back to me too soon.
Yeah, I assumed that once I opened the box, the cards wouldn't be
wrapped again.
Wait,
Now this
I actually
is
don't need it.
5 to 8, you said?
Yeah.
I believe I have 1 through 4 somewhere else.
There we go.
As a previous set. I got this with my box from... No, I got that a note on pre-RPG day. They had some random items. You had to draw a lottery card to see what you won, and that's what I got.
So I'm gonna, you know what? Pick a card, any card,
Oh, okay.
and I'll read that. There we go. So that was Shocking Surprise. Trap level 5 to 8, dangerous harm. An idle weapon, relic, or door handle is enchanted with to blast any creature that touches it with lightning. Trigger, touch object. Touching the object triggers the trap. Effect, elemental blast. Triggering the triggering creature is hit with a lightning blast and must succeed on a DC 15 Constitution saving throw, taking 35 or 6d10 lightning damage on a failed save, half as much on a successful one. Countermeasures, difficult. Detecting the trap requires a successful DC 15 Wisdom Perception check or Detect Magic Evocation. Understanding it requires a successful DC 15 Intellect Arcana check. Understands the trap. Disabling the trap requires a successful DC 15 Spellcasting Ability check or Dispel Magic.
Well, and depending on who you're with, the rogues can disarm magical traps.
Yeah.
You may have a house rule where you have to be at least 3rd level to disarm magical traps.
And I feel like when you only say there's only one way to disarm it, it really does limit people's creativity.
Yeah, I really like to describe the rules, and if you can tell me how you disarm it, you are not going to need to roll.
Yeah. I mean, what's stopping me from taking, say, a pole, a 10-foot or 11-foot pole, and hitting the handle with that?
I just have the goblin open the door.
I need the goblin to open the next door.
Oh, that's what his brother's for.
Well, that's the 3rd door down.
Oh, okay. So, you get the idea.
Yeah.
Any other toys in the box?
There's a lot, but I feel like we've got, maybe 15 minutes left?
14.
14? Okay.
But who's counting the clocks?
Let's see. I know we've got a box in here. Yeah, 13 minutes. Okay. Let's see what we can do with these. This is how to play Sword of the Brigand King.
And that's an RP. That is, I haven't looked through that at all, but that's the RPG right there on that pamphlet.
Okay.
I think there may be a page that came off.
Maybe. We have Humblewood.
Now that is a game system that I have gotten. I have also several scenarios from this. This is Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. You can even get the rules on D&D Beyond.
I've noticed.
And I have players who want me to switch over from regular Dungeons & Dragons to Humblewood in my next campaign once they hit 20th level in the other game.
Okay. Think Treasures of Deep Grotto.
I don't believe that's a 5th edition, but it is.
It is.
It is 5e? Okay.
Yeah. But level? Free RPG, indie RPG anthology.
Okay, so it's level 1.
Level 1.
And it is just like the other things. These are one-page role-playing games where the entire game system is in there.
Okay.
For each game, there's several different role-playing games in there, and they call them one-page role-playing games. All the instructions you need and the entire scenario is written on a single page or a couple pages, depending on which ones they are.
Okay. So, and last but definitely not least, get these in the box. We have another box inside the box.
What's in the box? Now, you have seen on the last few that I have Dungeon in the Box. This is another company. This is Dungeon Crate, which is actually one of the first loot boxes other than the actual loot box that did occasional Dungeons & Dragons materials. This is the first role-playing game loot box that's dedicated strictly to role-playing games. I have been a customer of these people from Box 1.
We have stuff spilling out already.
I have always wanted to be I will always be it because their customer service is second to none.
We've got a sticker. It's, let's see.
The vampire.
Get this into focus.
Somebody with a beard.
That's not going to go in focus, but there's that. We've got a bag of stuff. I'm not opening that.
What is it?
Geek Grind Coffee Company. That's coffee. This is coffee. I'm not spilling coffee all over the place.
No, and we will drink that later at my house.
Yes.
But you'll also get discount codes for things like that. This is an odd fidget spinner that at first I thought was supposed to be a trap for the players. You put it down, you have a spinning blade trap.
Oh, I'm just a fan of Naruto.
Yeah. But this was in there. I can use it as a tabletop thing. I can use it as a fidget toy. Please don't throw it at each other.
Please don't. We have Reaper minis. Speaking of spiders.
And these are Bones minis, which means they are pre-primed.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is go straight into painting them.
Okay.
Occasionally, they'll send me a bottle of paint or some paintbrushes on here.
We've got a card, Goblin Hulk, with stats on the back.
Yeah.
We have a sword with stats on the back. That is the Sword of Grimalkin.
Now, the funny thing about that sword is, they got the cards and all the stats on there. I mean, they all tie into whatever adventure usually that is already in here. These are the codes to get in. Now, you can't just read that code off my screen because it is encoded. You have to use the decipher on the back to figure out what it means.
Dungeon Crate card. We've got Geek Grind.
Yeah, that's a coupon for Geek Grind.
Okay. Come on, out you go, out you go. We've got a dungeon of some sort with an ancient encounter.
Now, you can get a copy of that map, a copy of all the printout stuff at dungeoncrate.com, and you have your password from this thing. You'll be able to print out full-scale maps.
I'm guessing this has to do with the Goblin Hulk and the Sword of Grimalkin.
Yep.
Probably has something to do with that dungeon.
And the spiders might even have something to do with this story.
Possibly. We have, this feels like mystery dice. Includes 10 random 6-sided dice.
Okay, so these are all 6-siders.
Yeah.
Now, they've done complete set dices, all 7 of the regular dice. Mm-hmm. But this one just happens to be dice 6s.
You want me to open it up?
Yeah, go ahead.
See what I roll.
A 6?
I hope it's more than a 6. With 10 dice, I want at least 10.
You'd think, right? The math is hard.
Ooh, these are very gummy looking.
As in they look like candy?
Yeah. Ooh, I rolled a couple of 6s here. These...
Did you get Yahtzee?
I don't know the rules for Yahtzee.
Oh. Yahtzees, you get all of one number.
Oh, no.
Then you have straights, small straights, and it's just a dice rolling game, and you don't get 10 dice.
Yeah. So, we've got all sorts of different colors. I doubt that they're balanced. Very few are. Only the casino dice are.
Right. If you want to know whether or not your dice favor one number or another, you put them in salt water, and you just keep adding salt until the dice float.
Yeah.
And then you just give it a tap, and if they keep coming up with the same numbers, then you know that they're balanced one way or the other.
Yeah. You keep on just tapping it in. So, that's everything in here.
Right. DungeonCrate.com. You definitely want to check them out. The script is only $35 or $36 a month, and you get all these kind of cool things here. I'm becoming a little jaded because, like I said, I've been from day one.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to surprise me anymore.
Okay. So, let's get that in there. Fidget spin that a little bit more. My left hand.
Whee!
There we go. Sticker.
Oh, I want to point out something here. You notice on the side there, you see those little coin-looking things?
Yeah.
You cut those out. My wife has developed a technique where she can cut those out without putting a hole in the box. She just takes out the picture part.
Nice.
And what you do is you collect them like box tops.
Okay.
Print out a form. He wants you to actually fill out the form. Put in the coins into the box, and you could send them in for free stuff from Dungeon Crate.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
have so many, and I've been waiting for cool stuff to come up. And recently, I think they have new cool stuff that I do want to get.
Okay. So, nice presentation of some of the things that we opened up today.
Yeah, let's do the highlight ones. Highlights are obviously the Dungeon Crate, the Little Game Masters,
Uh-huh.
and Cowboy Bebop.
Oh yeah, let me get to that.
And I think
Honestly, I also liked the idea of if I were a Lich Man.
yes, I'm a big fan of cultural, especially when they're written appropriately.
Cultural exploration. Yeah.
I have some Native American role-playing games. Some of them are written by actual Native Americans. Others are just historically accurate.
Mm-hmm.
But they may or may not got the magic systems correct.
Yeah. And I mean, this is one of the things that I've seen where, there has been quite a bit of discourse on, I guess more inclusion in Dungeons and Dragons. And
role-playing games in general.
in general, yeah. And I feel like cultural inclusion, I think, is important, but it's a matter of, okay, how are you approaching it?
Right.
Yeah.
And are you approaching it for your home game?
Mm-hmm.
Which gives you a little bit more leeway, but as long as you have the consent of everybody at the game to play your way, nobody's going to come and knocking on your door and saying you are playing Oriental Adventures wrong.
And hi, Omega TV. Omega Om TV.
But if you are playing in a public space, you're broadcasting your show, or if you're doing a pickup game at a convention, you should be holding yourself to a much higher standard.
Right.
And looking at the things that you want to find out.
Yeah.
And taking things. It is okay to play people that you're not.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody yells that you play an elf. So it's okay if you play a purple elf. Or if you, in your campaigns, you want orcs to be horrible, evil savages, like from the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Or you want orcs to be, as in my campaigns, I don't consider my orcs to be black. They're Mongolian.
Okay. And I know that we don't come on often. We're trying to get better at that. But I mean, you mentioned that your orcs are more Mongolian. I've been, not the orcs, but I want my bugbears to be more Mongolian because I want my goblinoids to be East Asian.
My goblinoids are Roman.
Okay.
My bugbears are the Roman Legion.
See, I have my bugbears being Mongolian. I want my hobgoblins to be like Bushido Japanese.
Okay.
Plus Roman.
Oh, kind of mixing the cultures.
Yeah.
But it's a fantasy world, so why not?
And I want my standard goblins, to be Vietnamese.
And your lizardmen are
Polynesian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with orcs, there's this stereotype of orcs being black, but I want to pull from Zulu tribes. Make those orcs like, okay, you're dealing with Shaka Khan and his tactics?
Right.
Okay, now it's just not, they're a racial stereotype. No, you're now dealing with Zulu culture. And their spirituality, Aboriginal Australian. With Dreamtime. Now they have a connection to the astral plane.
And that sounds like a great game to play in.
Yeah.
You're not trying to play a stereotype.
No.
You are trying to play a culture, not because I'm sorry, you can't convince me that there is a quote unquote black culture. There is Aboriginal, there is African, there is Chicago.
Yeah, there are
There's-
distinct differences.
Yeah.
I mean, even if in America, Creole black isn't the same as a New Yorker or Chicago person.
Or L.A.
Yeah,
Those-
but it looks like we are at about time.
We are out of time, so it is time to say good night and dream well.
Thank
Please
you for being with us today.
write us at info@rpgresearch.com. Put talk show in the topic line so you can tell us what you want to talk about. And also donate, rpgresearch.com/donate, because we don't exist without donations.
Yeah.
We do not take government money. So if we don't have community support, we don't exist.
Right.
So thank you very much for your time here.
Yeah, we try to stream every Monday, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
With 2
Pacific
breaks.
Standard Time, with the breaks in between. But thank you for being with us.
And we will start more shows on Wednesdays, Fridays, and we'll figure out when to play
Yeah,
Baldur's Gate.
as soon as we can. Yes. Okay.
Good night, dream well.
Good night.